Okay, so 500 pounds of pressure. This is the new film, right? From uh Phil Allocco, right? Allocco. He wrote and directed it. It is produced by Zac Adams, Crawford Anderson Dillon, Dominic Burns, Ford Corbett, Mark Dannon, Roy Scott McFarland, Ison Robbins, and Amy Scoof. It's executive produced by Sasha Yaloon, Jordan Wagner, Anthony Standberry, Greg Schench, Greg Reitman, Alex Perfew, Rama K. Penta, um, Rajesh Penta, Jakant R. Patel, Nathan Klinger, Walter Jotson, Patrick Jotson, James Island, Jack Christian, Wang Chi Chang, Steve Carr, and Tanaz Anisi. It is co-produced by Alana De Freitas, Laurie Mahone, and Sky Morphopoulos, and Geneva Wasserman. Okay, it is associate produced by Ross Marion. Yeah, that's it on that front. Philippe Jacko handles the music. Sarah Dean, cinematography. Seth Anderson edits the piece, while Nancy Bishop took care of casting. Zazana Scoots is production design. Hazel Owen and Jackson Pitchard are art direction. Lance Milligan, costume design. Hair and makeup, we've got Charlotte Ambrose, Joe Barrett, J. Dean, Sarah Clark, Katie Jane Ford, Emma Humphrey, Chris Lyons, Red Miller, and Naomi Slack. So our cast. Well, we have got Luke Evans playing Adam, right? His ex-girlfriend Donna is played by Stephanie Leonardis, and their son, God, what's the son? Jimmy is played by Rudy Pankow. Oh gosh, we've then got Lef, played by Alex Pettyfer. Mike, right? His nephew, right? His sister's son is that's Mike, and he's played by Rory Culkin, right? He's got his best friend Eli, played by Zac Adams, right? Eli's on-off girlfriend is Laurie, played by Savannah Steen, right? Laurie's best friend is Keisha, played by Jada Standberry. Right, we've got gosh, who else is there? Then we have Jamal, played by Lauren Burrows. There's Anna, played by Olivia Caruthers. Patricia Earle, played by Julie Serda. Played by Gary McDonald. Santiago, played by Charlie Rose. Leah, played by Laura Hooper. Lenny, played by Graham Fox. Dr. Wright, played by Nicola Alexis. Who else? We've got Steve, played by Jazz Lintoch. Sicky, played by James Oliver Wheatley. And Lewis, played by Adam Fielding. Johnny, played by Mark Griffin. Tommy, played by Tommy Alco. Right? I think that's probably a lot of our main cast. Right? The gist of the film: fresh out of prison after serving time for murder, Adam returns to his old stomping grounds to seek out a son who doesn't know him. Eli, the brother of the man Adam killed, is looking for revenge. Mike is trying to escape a life of crime, living under the thumb of his gangster uncle, Lef. So yeah, that's the film. And there are a lot of threads here. There's a lot of threads. There's a lot of characters that are kind of all interwoven with each other. Right? It's an hour and 50 minutes. It's an hour and 50 minutes, right? So it's not a short film, but you do kind of feel we don't necessarily have enough time with a lot of these characters, right? To really get the gist of their character, right? Of why they're doing certain things, right? The pain they might be suffering, the hurt. There's all of these kind of emotions. We don't necessarily have enough time with all of them, because there's certain story threads, right, which are a bit like, right? Laurie, for instance, her character, it's like you can see why it doesn't work with Eli. You can definitely see that. But then there's another decision she makes, right? And you wonder why. Now, the connection in that other situation, that all works, it's all believable. But why make that decision? Right? That's the big thing with this one. Because neither are great choices. You know what I mean? So it's just like, why would she do this? That's the thing. You've got Mike, right? Mike, he's got a band, but he's also helping his uncle with drug deals. Why? Right? Why isn't he getting, other work? Right? These are things that we do not know. We don't know. Adam, you know what I mean? Like, you can understand this kind of be like, I want to know my son, but working in the neighborhood where all this shit went down, why? Right? Because you think you could probably get work somewhere else. And then you can still try and track down your son, but why make that decision to be in that space? Right? There's these things that are just like, why? Right? Why would we do this? And it's a shame because, there's a lot of good things in this film. Like the way it's shot is great. The way it's shot really works, and there are these moments. There's a couple of really nice moments in the film that, all of this stuff has happened. And then we're kind of with some of the characters who are affected by the actions, right? We see the ripple effect of what these things have done, right? How, you know, it plays out in these other people's lives. And I'm like, oh shit, that's really good. That's really nice, right? Because a lot of times, we'll have someone and they'll do a thing, but we don't then see, right, what does their girlfriend, what does their kid, what does their partner, what do, what I mean, their friends, or like, how do they feel about these things? How are they affected by these things? So these scenes kind of show us that. And so, yeah, they do this thing a couple of times in the film, and I thought it was a real nice touch, a real nice touch, man. You know what I mean? So those were right. The acting is good. You know what I mean? The acting is good. Like the only one that seems a little bit kind of like is Jimmy, right? And it's not to say Rudy plays it Jimmy badly or anything like that, but it's just like, oh, what is all of this kind of pent up aggression Jimmy has? Right now, the assumption you have to make is it's because, he doesn't know his dad. But is it that? Is it something like, but the acting is good. The acting in this is really good. And when you look at the cast, it's a good cast. So it's not a surprise. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah, it's just a few things in the script, right? The fact we have all of these characters, but we don't necessarily have enough time with them, right? Because the film starts off, right? We see a bar. We see a bar, the kind of lights flash, and then we hear gunshots, right? Then we go, I think it's like 3 weeks earlier, something like that, right? We go back in time, and so many films, TV shows, right, books do this thing. I don't I don't necessarily love it, right? I don't necessarily love it because it's like, okay, we know everything is leading up to this point, right? And as soon as you see a few things, you know who's involved in this situation. So I think from the very beginning, you understand who's involved in this situation and how it's all going to play out, right? There's a bit when someone forgets to ask for something back, and you're just like, okay, I know what's happening now, right? You be like, okay, so obviously that's going to play into this thing, which plays into this thing, boom, 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 right? You just know these things, and that's a shame. That's a big shame with this because it's just like, ah, man, we didn't need all of that, right? The other thing is there's a situation with another character, and like, this character is a bit whatless, right? So they're gonna walk into a situation and it's not gonna go well. You just know this. And again, bit of a shame. Bit of a shame. So it's a little bit of a script issue, and just a time constraint issue that really stops this film from going to that next level, right? I mean, when you look at, because it's got Alex Perfew in it, right? It's this crime kind of thing. So Echo Boomers, right? Seth Savoy's film. That's a good kind of parallel. Now, I don't think it gets to that same level as Echo Boomers because but EB, we I thought it was clear the motives and the justifications, even though you just think that's ridiculous. Why are you doing this? You can clearly see why, right? And everything I think was you could follow and understand and get into these mindsets of these people, right? 51 pounds of pressure, it just doesn't quite connect all of those, you know, muscles and tissues, right? The ligaments don't quite get going, as it were. You know what I mean? You've still got a limp. You know what I mean? But yeah, if you like that, right? I think Black Flies, right, aka Asphalt City, that's something that kind of, yeah, if you like that, you could possibly like 51 pounds of pressure. It's one of those type of films, you know. um oh god, there was the I think think of oh my days, I cannot think of the guy. He was in John Wick. He's a British dude, stuntman, karate, martial arts. Like his films, if you like those, I think 51 pounds of pressure will work for you. Like is it One Shot? Right? And then there was a sequel to One Shot that we looked at. Right? They're the kind of films that 51 pounds of pressure plays into. And you know, the title plays into the fact, right? So there's a part in the film and they're talking about guns, and they're just like, oh, you just need 51 pounds of pressure to pull this trigger, right? It's a good one, it's sensitive. So that's where the title comes from. So it's, you know, it's not a bad film, right? It's solid. It hits a lot of the motions and all of this kind of thing. Um, right? Not quite. Yeah, it doesn't quite hit the height you want it to hit, but you know, it's functional. It's functional. You like there's plenty of worse films out, and I said we get these really nice touches in the film, you know. So it's one of those things where it's just like I would watch another film from Phil Allocco, right? Allocco, right? I'd watch another of his films because I think this shows promise for sure. It definitely does, right? So yeah, it's on Prime, right? Or all your favorite VODs. So if it sounds like it's something for you, yeah, go check out 51 pounds of pressure.